The sun beat down on the dust-choked street of Cedar Gulch, as if it wanted to burn the sins of the town into the ground. The people gathered in a tight, eager circle around the chained man, whispering with the same mixture of fear and fascination that always accompanied cruelty. They called him Savage, a giant of a man, muscles carved like the stone cliffs of the canyon, hair long and wild as if the wind itself was trapped in it. Eyes burning with a storm he refused to show on the surface. His wrists were bound by thick iron cuffs, connected to a chain so heavy even the sheriff's horse sometimes struggled to drag it. Cedar Gulch had seen outlaws before, rustlers, killers, bandits, but never someone like him. To most of the onlookers, he wasn't human. He was entertainment. He was humiliation on display. He was a warning. And today, he was up for auction. Sheriff Dalton strutted across the makeshift platform with a swagger that came from a lifetime of being feared. This creature, he announced, kicking dirt in the chained man's direction, was caught stealing from the mines. He put up a fight, nearly killed 2 deputies. The law says he's to be sold to pay his debts or butchered if no one wants him. Ripple of cruel laughter bounced through the crowd. Savage didn't flinch. He didn't look at them. He stared at the ground, breathing slow, as if he had lived this humiliation 100 times in 100 different cages. And maybe he had. That's when she stepped forward. Elena Marlowe, daughter of the late Judge Marlowe, owner of one of the biggest ranches in the region, a woman known for her stubbornness and hated for her compassion. She wore a soft cream dress dusted at the hem from travel, a wide hat shielding her from the sun. Her dark hair braided, her posture strong but calm. She stopped at the edge of the circle, and every whisper died as if someone had sliced the air. Sheriff Dalton squinted. "Miss Marlowe, you lost?" "No," she said. Her voice didn't shake, but something in it carried a strange, unmistakable ache. "I'm here for him." A roar of disbelief erupted from the townsfolk. Her? Buying a monster? She must have gone mad. Dalton chuckled in mock pity. "Him? Elena, you know what he is. You know what he's done." She stepped closer, until she stood only a few paces from the giant. Savage finally lifted his gaze, his expression unreadable, but his eyes were not what the town believed. They weren't the eyes of a beast. They were tired, broken, human. "Don't hurt him," she said suddenly as one of the deputies struck Savage's shoulder with the butt of his rifle. Her voice cut through the crowd like lightning. "I'll buy him." Dalton blinked. "You'll what?" She took a breath, gathering every ounce of courage. "I'll buy him. Right now." The crowd gasped again, more violently this time. A child dropped a canteen. An old man choked on his tobacco. Elena ignored them all. She looked only at the chained man and saw something no one else dared to see. "Call him Savage all you want," she said, her voice trembling not with fear but with fury. "I see a man worth saving." Dalton spit into the dirt. "Why, out of the goodness of your heart?" She whispered almost to herself. "Because someone once saved me." Dalton sighed dramatically. "Fine, but you better pay good. Starting bid 200. 300. Elena said instantly. Murmurs rose. No one else bid. It wasn't worth it to them, not for a man they believed belonged in a cage. "Going once, going twice." Dalton smirked at Savage like a vulture smiling at a dying animal. "Sold." Elena walked forward, her boots stirring the dust as she reached the chained giant. A deputy moved to unhook the chains from the post but left the cuffs on him, stepping back nervously. To their shock, she didn't back away. She didn't shrink. She stood right before him and held his gaze steadily. For a moment, the world fell silent. No wind, no crowd, no sun. Just 2 souls staring across a distance they both desperately wished wasn't there. "You're free now," she said softly. Savage didn't answer, but something shifted in the air between them. Something fragile, something dangerous, something the whole town felt but couldn't explain. Elena turned, guiding him toward her horse. The crowd parted like water around them, whispering curses, prophecies of doom, doubts she refused to hear. But just before they left the square, Dalton called out, "You're making a mistake, Elena. That thing will turn on you one day." She didn't look back. "If he does," she said. "At least I gave him a reason not to." As they rode away from Cedar Gulch, Savage glanced back once, but not at the people who jeered at him. He looked only at the woman leading him into a future he never asked for but now, silently hoped might save him. The trail leading to the Marlowe Ranch stretched for miles across the open plains, a long ribbon of dust that shimmered in the heat. Elena rode ahead, the reins steady in her hands, her posture upright yet softened by the quiet weight of everything she had just done. Behind her, Savage followed on foot, the heavy iron cuffs still locked around his wrists. He never complained, never spoke, never dragged his steps. He simply moved with the silent endurance of someone who had learned long ago that suffering was just another part of breathing. Elena kept glancing back at him, not out of fear but out of a strange concern she couldn't explain. She remembered the moment she had first seen him days ago, chained to a wagon, surrounded by deputies, bruised and bleeding yet not crying out once. Most people would have looked away. She couldn't. Something in his eyes had struck her deeply, something she recognized even though she didn't understand it fully at the time. The ranch came into view slowly, rolling fields, a wide barn, a wooden house with a porch her father had built before the sickness took him. It wasn't the largest ranch in the territory, but it was her home. And now somehow it would be his too. When they reached the barn, Elena dismounted and approached, Savage as if approaching a wounded animal, carefully, respectfully, without sudden movements. "I want to take these off you," she said, raising the ring of keys the sheriff had handed her. For the first time, Savage spoke, his voice deep, rough, but not as inhuman as the town claimed. "Why?" she swallowed. The question cut deeper than she expected. "Because chains shouldn't define anyone." He didn't argue. He simply lifted his wrists. Elena unlocked the cuffs one by one, the metal clinking to the ground with a sound that felt like something breaking. Open inside him, he rubbed his wrists slowly, staring at the marks left behind, marks that told a lifetime of stories he never got to speak. Elena stepped back, giving him space. "You're free here," she said. "You can leave if you want or stay if you choose." "I'm not your owner." He looked at her with an expression she couldn't read, half confusion, half disbelief. "Why?" he asked again, quieter this time. Elena hesitated, her chest tightening. "Because once, when I was younger, after my mother died and my father drank himself numb, I almost jumped into the river. I thought there was nothing left worth fighting for. But a stranger pulled me out. He didn't know me. He didn't gain anything from it. He just saved me. I never saw him again, but his kindness changed everything. I swore that day if I ever saw someone drowning, even in a different way, I'd pull them out too." Savage listened, not blinking, not looking away. The wind rustled the dry grass around them, like the earth itself. Exhaled. For a long moment neither spoke. Then he said softly, "I'm not good." "I don't believe that," she answered without hesitation. He shook his head. "People died because of me. People die in this world for 100 reasons," she said gently. "Some because they deserve to, some because they don't. But I don't think you wanted anyone hurt. I think life hurt you first." His jaw tightened at that, as if the words landed somewhere deep and painful. Days passed. Savage stayed. He worked the fields with a strength that stunned the ranch hands. He repaired fences, chopped wood, and little by little, the wildness in his eyes began to melt into something steadier, calmer, as if the ranch soil was slowly grounding him. At night, Elena sometimes found him sitting alone by the corral, staring at the stars as though trying to remember he was human. One evening she approached him. "Can I sit?" He nodded once. They watched the sky together, a silence settling between them that wasn't uncomfortable but strangely peaceful. "You know," she said softly, "you don't have to be who they say you are." Savage didn't respond immediately. Then, his voice low, he murmured, "I don't know who I am." "Then let's find out," she whispered. Something shifted again, like the first crack in a stone wall. But peace never lasts long in Cedar Gulch territory. One morning, a rider thundered into the ranch, breathless. "Sheriff Dalton's coming," he shouted. "With men. Says the creature escaped. Says he aims to take him back." Elena's heart sank. Savage stood behind her, shoulders squared, eyes burning, not with fear, but with the readiness of someone who'd been hunted too many times. She turned to him. "I won't let them take you." "Not again." He stared at her with a softness she had never seen before. "Elena, you saved me once." "I'd do it again," she said. "Every time." The sound of horses thundered closer. A storm was coming, the kind that destroys or transforms. Savage looked at her with a quiet certainty. "Then I'll stand with you." He stepped forward, no longer a chained beast, No longer the savage they called him, but a man, one worth saving, one choosing to fight for something other than survival. And in that moment, Elena knew their story was only beginning.